We are just a little north of Hutchinson today at the Forest City Stockade, and here is our host, Bob Herman. Bob, how you doing?
Good, good.
What can you tell us about the Forest City Stockade?
Well, we started our project in 1976. Our time period is 1862. Back in 1862, there was no trees around here. This was prairie grass, and it was just level ground. So it has more of a park setting now since we've added the stuff. We put up the stockade in 1976. We've redone that one more time here. We started in 2012 and redid the whole thing, the corner houses and everything. And now she's good for another 60 years or so. She lasted 40 years the second time, and the first time was 1862. Just a little bit about it. When we look at the monument here, it shows a ditch around the outside, and that was never to hold water. That was just to stop in case of a fire. In 1862, during the Uprising, when this was all prairie grass in the fall of the year, it would have been a very prime time to light the grass on fire when there was a south wind, and it would have done a lot of damage. And the settlers that were here did something really smart by digging that trench. It's 6 to 8 feet wide and about 2 feet deep, just so you got black dirt or dirt out there, so in order to stop it. Yeah, 240 people took refuge here for 10 days, and it was quite cozy when you think of it. It's exactly the same size of what you see here, of what the original one was of 1862. They chose this site because of the good well. Water was really going to be critical for that many people. Crow River is about 3/4 of a mile away from here, so that was a little distance if you were going to try to haul water. Okay, I'm going to start here. We have some buckskinners, and they come and join us during the summer event, and there's about a group of 35 to 40 that set up their tents out in this area, and they live the life of the fur trader. And their time period is 1860 to 1880. And these are some hardy ones that come here in the wintertime and set up some in the wintertime. And then they'll live here for the weekend. And it's going to be nice and warm enough now, so it won't be too bad. But otherwise, during the wintertime, it's pretty tough living in a tent like that. Here is where some of our booths are. Our fry bread area is, we've been doing the summer one for 40 years. So that's why we wanted to put up some more permanent facilities rather than just tents all the time. So that has that area there, and then we serve buffalo and beans out of that. Now what we're going to do for this event that's coming up tomorrow, we'll do cream can stew. We'll cook it outside here on open fires, and we'll do 80 gallons of that. 40 gallons will be Polish sausage, and 40 will be roast buffalo and some beef in it.
You have some right now we can sample, right?
Yeah.
Hungry.
We don't have anything right ready now. This took 2 years of our crew rebuilding it, and we used bigger logs than what the original, or the one that was put up in '76 was. And also, back in 1862, this upstairs would have come all the way across. But right now, because we have so many visitors that come to visit us, we left this part open here. But I said there was 2 families that lived in here. One family had that side for their sleeping quarters, and the other family had this above us for their sleeping quarters.
This was a big cabin for 1862.
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Yes, it was.
Very impressive.
Those people come here with some change in their pocket to put up something like this. And the first settlers here to Forest City was 1856. So that's why we figure in 1862 that they more than likely would have put up a log facility. Because lady, when she drew it as a stick home. But we just think that it was too early for them to have been cutting 2x4s and stuff like that. Yes, it is a beautiful home now. We have a lot of people that want to rent it for a weekend or like that. We said when we're part of the park system, we just can't do that. But the fire did destroy the fireplace because it cracked every one of the rocks at a 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch intervals. So we just could not salvage it. Yeah, it was tough pushing that, what was left of the cabin down. Yes, every year we do a Pioneer Christmas, and we do it on the first Saturday of December. And this year it'll be really early, so it'll be quite on the mild side. But we've been doing that for 27 years. And that was an offspring from our summer event. When we were drawing so many people to that, we just figured that we should have something close to Christmas, and we came up with that. It was really small the first year, probably if we had like 350 to 400 people, but it's really grown since then. It's just caught on to be a big event.
So how many people are you going to have?
Somewhere between 3,500 and 5,000.
Oh, wow.
In one day, yes.
Wow.
We have had up to as high as 5,000, and if it's a nice day like this, we could be somewhere between 3,500 and 4,000.
Do you charge admission?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have to, because it'll take, I have 100 volunteers that'll work in our different food stands, and everything is made on site. Nobody else gets to come in here. You got to be a part of the committee to be a part. We're strictly in-house, and everything we make stays here at the Stockade, so that's what we can do different buildings.
That's
but
impressive.
Yeah, it is.
What do you typically get through the summer?
Well, on a weekend like that, we can hit 5,000 also. But there, people don't jam, or come quite as heavy because it's 2 days. But here, when it's just one day, people know. They'll be here, they'll be lined up at 10 o'clock in the morning.
In the summer, then the threshing days, is
Yeah.
that your big weekend?
Yeah, well, it's our weekend. We started it at the Stockade, and they joined 5 years later.
Okay.
They've added more buildings and stuff, but we'll walk through the building area just a little bit so you get to see what we've added. But from this picture that it shows Old Forest City was right to the west of the Stockade, and we've condensed it so it's closer together so we don't use up so much room. But a lot of the buildings are the same ones that were available here in that time. So back in our time period, there was no such thing as a camera. So in order to have how we look during the summertime, this is when 2 of the gals, she does flax straw, spinning and weaving of the yarn. That is just first one where he puts people in them. But if one of the buildings are open, we'll go in there and take a look. We have a drawing. He's done about 8 of them, and just does a beautiful drawing. And he'll do it first in pencil, and then when he feels that it's done good enough, then he'll ink it. Then we send it away to a shop out east, and they'll make us a wooden template, and then it comes back to us, and then in our own presses in the printing shop, we'll print out 110 or 20 copies, and then we sell 100 of them, and they're numbered. And I think it's, you know, we try to do everything the old-fashioned way so that, you know, the whole story holds together. And this is a pottery collection that was done over the years, starting I think in 1998, and that was done by Clay Coyote. But a lot of people bought the whole set, you know, one piece at a time. It was just one for each year, and this way they get to see. But we have that locked because we don't want somebody thinking that, oh, I'll just buy one from here and take. But anyway, the chipmunks, we do have a problem with them inside here, and they took all the checkers except 4. So it's hard to play checkers with 4 checkers, but I mean, we had them here for like 16 years and they never bothered. But about 4 years ago, they took them all, and they've hid some we found one underneath this ice box, and we found one out in the other part. But I thought that those baskets would have been a really neat place for them to put the checkers in. But they haven't put them in there, and I don't know where they've hid them or where they are. They're somewhere around the facility, but we just haven't found them. We don't want, I mean, they're easy enough to make new ones, but we just hate to do that because I just figured that somewhere the chipmunk has hung them or stuck them away, you know, somewhere, and we should be able to find them. But they're playing a little game with us, and that's okay too. And I said that we had the fire in 1999, so we worked on building the cabin and stuff then. But then we bought 2.5 acres on this side, and we started also in 2000. That building right there stood on the other side of our property, but felt it was more important to have it on this side. And that was a cabin that was a real one. It was the kind of a cabin that the person that was homesteading land would have to put up on there, because you'd have to add a home to it and then clear a certain amount, and then you could earn 40 acres from the federal government. We're not going to go in all these buildings, but we're just going to take a walk around so you get to see what they look like. This is where my wife operates out of this bakery. She cooks stuff on a wood stove in there, so she fires it with a wood stove, and yeah, just does everything old-fashioned way. Our log buildings, from anywhere in Meeker County, most of them are from Meeker County, some are from Stearns. This was a building that was full of rat manure, but the logs were so nice and straight and long and everything that we just felt it was worthwhile. So we took it apart. We chinked, you know, there's a lot of stones used in between there for chinking and stuff, but we put them back together the same way we find them, but there's no way you can save the chinking stuff. We have to just throw away. And we had the first land office out here at Forest City that was west of the Twin Cities. Okay. There's another one down by the Twin Cities at one of the suburbs. But anyway, the reason we know that, we've had people that come here to visit us, and they come from as far away as Alexandria, Minnesota. And they said when they look back on the old abstracts, it shows that their grandparents had to come down here to Forest City to the U.S. Land Office to get it recorded, that they were homesteading land up that way. So. So it's quite interesting. General store, blacksmith shop. Tomorrow now, when everything is running, there'll be guys in there. Okay. There'll be 2 guys in there that'll run the blacksmith shop like a blacksmith shop would have been back in the time period. This was an old building. It was donated to us, but it sat at one of the parks in Forest City, in downtown Forest City.
Oh, okay.
And then we moved it over here. They felt that it was rather than them take and redo it and stuff, so we set it up on some good cement footings, and but we just slid it down the road, so it, yeah, we moved things the old-fashioned way like they would have done back then, except we used it. Whatever tractors are available. Our main builder, since he got done with the cabin, he's the one that put up the water tower here and the windmill. Thank you. But we've had to replace the poles in the windmill, but the water tower is still the same. And the water tower was given to us from a farmer, and it was just in a bundle of wood, and he took and put it back together and then set it back up there. So, you know, whether it was a highlight of Forest City, that's hard to say, but we just add whatever we feel is necessary. This building was 3 days away from being burnt. 3 days. And the guy that was the owner of it, his grandparents, talked to him at one of our Lions Club meetings. And I said, "What are you going to do this week?" He said, "I'm going to burn the old homestead." And we got pictures of it there on the wall. But I said, "Well, what is it?" And I said, "It's a log cabin." Well, I said, "You've never talked to us." And he said he had, but he had talked to somebody over to Thrasher's. But anyway, we went and looked at it, 3 of us, and just decided that the logs were so nice that we need to, you know, take it and bring it over here. And then he joined us. But he did those 2 windows up there, and then he got so many compliments on it that he did the 2 side windows here and the narthex later on. And the thing is, very unusual to see a cabin built with vertical logs, but this was a 2-story house, so the bottom logs were vertical logs, because the bottom part of the tree is usually a pretty straight log, the first 8 feet. So that's what they used for that. And then we just needed, you know, just 1 story, so we just took the bottom logs from it. That's the freight wagon. That's the one that's worth $25,000. Just to get the wheels replaced now would be $2,500 a piece to get the wheels done. So.
19th century big rig, semi.
Yeah, that's right. It was. Yeah. Well, a lot of the freight that would have come here to Forest City would have come the same way, you know, that before the railroad was in went through Litchfield. Why it would get loaded up and brought out from the cities, you know, 4 horses pulling it and stuff. When you look at the size of it and everything, I mean, it was quite a deal. Yeah, it'll be fun to see that back in a parade somewhere, you know, with 4 horses pulling it and stuff. We built it ourselves, and we used our own ideas. And one is that the bottom of the walls are 24 inches wide, and then they get a little bit narrower as they go. And the grass was long on it, and that has stayed. I think it's in its 3rd year right now. So, but anyway, a little bit about this building now. There was a gentleman that was 101 years old, and he had his nephew who was in his 80s, and they stopped to see our main builder, and during our summer event, and said, "We have our home that we would like to donate to the Stockade." Well, he said, "I'll come and take a look at it." He said, "If the logs are relatively decent shape, I will, start to take it apart." And then he worked on it that whole fall, took it apart, and had it in a big pile over here. And then the following spring, we poured a cement slab here. So we always, underneath all the buildings is a solid cement slab, and then we put a wood floor on top. And that way we don't have to worry about varmints getting underneath there or anything like that.
I noticed there's no whiskey on the menu.
No. No.
Well, I just have to say, this place is amazing. I can't believe the amount of work that's gone into this, and the amount of dedication. I think, for myself and our viewers, I've got to thank Bob here for the tour, and then also thank the Forest City Stockade group. I mean, This is just amazing. I can't wait to come for the Christmas event and the summer events.
Thank you.